All right, hi guys. So you're inside the hive again. This is Tony, and today we're doing paella party. All right. So paella party, it's a chance for you to have a small gathering in your house without us being there. And right here in this bag is everything you're going to need for what you're going to do tonight or tomorrow. All right, what we'll do is kind of what we've usually done. We're going to do an unboxing, what I call it, or what my kids call it, I guess. And I'll kind of get everything out of this bag, and then we'll show how we can plate it. And then the main part is over here. We're going to actually cook our paella, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so here we go. All right, when you get your bag, right, everything here is numbered. The things that are numbered, those are the things for the paella. We'll go ahead and get those out. All right. So all those things that are in these bags right here. So you guys are done painting by numbers. We're going to be cooking by numbers, right? Really easy.
That's a good idea.
Paella can be a little bit intimidating, and I know there's a whole page of instructions, but if you just follow them step by step, and obviously watch the video, or come to the class, right? That's even easier, right? All right, so everything I need, I'm going to put right here, all right? The rest of the stuff right here in the bag, which will be right here. All right. So the rest of the stuff in the bag, I'm going to send to the back. Our lovely assistant, please. And we're going to plate that for you, and you're going to see how that looks. And then we'll do that while we're preparing our paella. All right, here's my instructions. Let's see how it's done. I don't know. All right, so we have an equipment needed. Most of the stuff, I'm expecting you guys would have that at your house. And then if you don't, we can always provide for you. But we'll kind of go over a gas grill. So paella is usually cooked over open fire traditionally, but a gas grill actually is a good alternative because it gives you a kind of nice and even heat. Paella pans are usually like really thin, so they conduct heat very well. So that's why you don't want to put them on a gas stove, because if you have like central heat, it get really hot in the middle, it'll warp really fast. And and there's actually in Spain they use actual paella burners, which are really low heat, and they're very well spread out. So a grill is a good alternative. And if you get really brave, you can go over open coals and do it a fire. But I haven't even done that, so I don't know. All right, so a gas grill, 2-quart pot, just any pot right here. I have a little side burner on the grill here. If you have that, that's great. If not, you can put it in your kitchen and just want to warm up the broth. So paella rice, it's called a bomba rice or a calaspara. It's kind of a unique rice where most rices where you have to cover them to cook them. Paella rice you can actually cook uncovered because it absorbs liquid very well. But that's why you do want the broth to be hot, so you kind of get the process going right away. So I'm just gonna, the first thing I'll do is I'll get my grill on, and I'll get this pan nice and hot. So the one thing with the grill is even heat, but it's not as a gas burner, so it's not going to give you that really high heat in the beginning. We do want to have that so we can sear our chicken. Now, paella pan, when you first get it, it has a wax coating, and there's a certain way we have to boil the water and everything. We've done all that for you, so you don't have to worry about it. So it's ready to use right away. But it's a very high carbon steel, and it does rust very easily. So once you're done cooking, you can wash it just like regular soapy water. Do not put it in a dishwasher, because if it stays there, it'll just rust right away. And you just want to wipe it down super clean. And you can take just a little bit of pan spray and just kind of just with a paper towel, just kind of coat it a little bit, and that'll prevent it from rusting if you don't use it for a while. Okay, then this thing is the small skimmer, which is this guy right here. That is in your pack. So that's just kind of like gathering meat, and because as we cook, we want to cook the meat and then just get it out of there. We want to leave the oil and all that flavor that comes with whatever we're cooking, just leave it there just to kind of develop flavor and just saute everything else in there. The next thing is our large slotted spoon. I like to use my trusty fish spatula. Everybody should have one of these. But if you don't have one, it's not a thing that everybody has in their house, but I love it. A slotted spoon will do the trick, but this is great. All right, and then I need a small spoon for tasting, and then look, a little work area. Like you see, I just kind of want to be able to lay everything out on the table, and if you don't have some sides, and then we have our bowl with a strainer, and that can just be anything. What's going to happen is we're going to start cooking all our meats and the sausage, the chorizo, and the speck. And as I cook it, I'm going to put it in there, let it rest, and it'll release some liquid. I'll take that and kind of incorporate it, and you'll see how that works. But you just kind of want to have that ready to go over there. All right, so let's start cooking. Container number 1. All right, I'll go ahead and get this broth going in here. It's just on a low simmer, and you pretty much want to just warm it up a little bit so it's ready to kind of turn up when it's time to actually do the paella and put it in there. You don't want to have it boiling the whole time because it will start reducing. Then it's going to throw off the ratio of our rice and broth. All right, so I'll go ahead and get this in here. All right. The trash can back there, and just throw it on the floor. Okay, so this is it's a saffron and smoked paprika broth. We start with like a really rich chicken stock, and then it's saffron, onions, bay leaves, and smoked paprika, and then we cook it like overnight and strain it out, and there's a little bit of white wine in there, and but that's all ready for you. It's seasoned enough for the broth and for the rest of the paella, and then later on you'll see we'll do like a little final seasoning and kind of taste that, and see how everything goes. All right, so this grill has been on for a while, so if you want to get your grill preheated ahead of time, you can do like 15-20 minutes out, and then put the paella pan, get it going hot because it does take for a while, and the heat usually on most grills, you just kind of have to feel it out. If you start like really feeling that heat coming out, you do want to turn it down a little bit. You want to get it pretty nice and hot. It's going to start smoking right away, so don't be alarmed. It's olive oil. Yep, extra virgin olive oil. And you kind of want it to start shimmering. If it starts smoking slightly, that's fine. I'm just going to spread it out. Another important thing to remember too is heavy grill in as flat of an area as possible. If it's in the grass, sometimes it might be an issue. But try to have it, somewhere, mostly it should be on a concrete pad or something like that. All right, so I'm going to crank everything up over here. I'm going to wait till my oil gets a little bit hotter. All right, so oil was number 2 if you're following the list. Number 3 is the chicken. All right, so that's in a vacuum bag. And you can kind of see, if you want to come in here, see how it's starting to bubble a little bit and see how it's kind of starting to shimmer. And that means it's ready to go. I'll go ahead and put my chicken in here. Okay. So did you hear that? You want to hear that sound. You want it to sizzle just a little bit. Don't worry if it's not like you're searing a steak or something like that. You just want to make sure that, if it's hot enough, it's going to do that. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and spread it out. Nice even layer. And see how I'm kind of turning the paella pan? If I have, for example, my grill is kind of leaning a little bit back, so I'll kind of let all this oil that was gathered in the back move forward and just kind of even out. All right. And then I'll just leave that. And then anytime you want to kind of, let's say your grill hasn't gotten hot enough or anything like that, I'll just kind of close it, get the temperature going up a little bit, and then I'll, kind of get my next thing ready. So I'll let that cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. I'm not trying to cook the chicken yet. I'm just kind of coating it. I want it to just cook a little bit, tighten it a little, and then release some flavor into the oil, and then we'll move to our next step. All right, now our chicken's cooked for a couple of minutes. I'm going to go ahead and start flipping it a little bit. Escaping man. All right, so we've kind of coated our chicken. I kind of stirred it up a little bit. And you want it to just be a little bit opaque. Like I said, we're not trying to cook it. I just kind of want to coat it and just kind of get it going a little bit. And now is the next step. What I like to do, I'll put this bowl right right on the grill right here. Obviously, as you remove it, it's going to be really hot. So use your towels that were on the equipment list. And I'm just kind of using the skimmer to kind of put the chicken on here, and I'm trying to drain it out so it can keep all that oil in the pan. No, right now it's just I've just kind of coated it and just almost like blanched it on the outside. I just kind of want a bit of just a little flavor out of it, and then I'll put it back on later on, because if I cook it all the way right now and then I put it back again and then let the rice cook, it's just going to get really tough. Sir. All right, so let's see, what do we got here? So the tapas, we have our tortilla right there, which is the little squares. So that's a traditional Spanish tortilla, which doesn't have to do anything with like our traditional tortilla, like Mexican tortilla. It's pretty much like a frittata, or like a potato, and our version has peas and asparagus, so it's a little bit springy. The traditional one is usually just potatoes, some eggs and onions and caramelized onions. It's done in like a pan and they flip it. We do ours a little bit different, but it's served cold. We have also some romesco sauce that goes with that. We have romesco sauce with the tortilla.
That's with the roasted veg.
Oh yeah, we haven't sent it out. So we have some romesco sauce that you can eat the roasted vegetables with, and also you can put it with that, so it goes great with everything. We have some traditional Spanish charcuterie. There's manchego cheese. The one that's sliced is just like young manchego, and the other one, the cube one, we actually vacuum packed it with some rosemary oil and marinated it for a little bit.
Make 2 containers of it, so you can use one now.
Oh, okay, that's good. All right, here's this.
Okay. And
Yeah.
this is manchego.
Yeah, it's all manchego. Just some of it is cut, and it's just like the way it is, and the other one is marinated in the oil. And then we have some speck, which is rolled up, and the other one is serrano ham. Speck is kind of like a prosciutto that has like juniper berries in the cure. It has a little bit of more of a floral, fruity flavor, and serrano is the traditional Spanish ham, which is just like aged. It's a Spanish country ham.
One of the squares here. Is that like
Oh, so yeah, that's membrillo. That's quince paste. Yeah. So it's kind of like a quince jam that's been like really kind of like it's really dense, and it goes really well. So a traditional sandwich in Spain is like baguette, the speck, the serrano, the manchego, and the membrillo, and that goes really well together. So. All right, so my pan is talking to me over here. So you hear it kind of sizzling, which lets me know that we're ready for the next stage. All right, next container is our chorizo, Spanish chorizo, which is like a dry cured sausage, and then we have the diced speck underneath here. So that's where we start building our flavor, like we said. Yes, sir?
What is this arugula salad they just
Oh,
brought?
arugula salad. So this is a really clean salad. It's just arugula parmesan, a little bit of lemon vinaigrette, just kind of fresh. Obviously, the paella is, it's kind of a heavy dish, and it's just something to, kind of lighten it up. And as you can see, you can do the same thing whenever you have your party, you have people over. You can be cooking the paella, and hopefully somebody's in the kitchen can assemble it for you, help you out, and put it out so people can, kind of snack on and have a little bite here and there. And then, one of the main thing is happening on the grill. So back to the paella, we have our chorizo and our speck. It's kind of becoming a little bit opaque, and all I want to do is just coat it with the oil, heat it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get it on top of the chicken over here. All right. Okay, now so you can see like the oil is nice and orange, and we've kind of released some of that smoked paprika from the chorizo and some of the flavor from the speck, and we're kind of smoking a little bit, so it means we're ready for the next step, which is number 5, container number 5. That's our vegetables. So that's the peppers, onions, green onions. Excuse me? Thank you. So that's our vegetables. And I'm just trying to kind of cook them down and caramelize them. And just sweat them down a little bit. So this can take, a really long time, or you can kind of shorten it. For example, like I can just put the rest of the stuff right now, and just if you're in a hurry and you're like, oh gosh, my guests are hungry or something like that, you can just, you can move a little bit faster through this. But the whole thing is just kind of meant to be, you're just kind of cooking and hanging out and having a good time, and it's not, it's kind of a slow dish. It takes about an hour, so just, keep that in mind when you start doing it. Pretty much from the start, from the moment you put the chicken on there until you're ready to serve, it's a good hour. So just, keep that in mind. So make sure you have plenty of sangria and plenty of snacks.
Can I ask you about the sangria?
Yeah, sure.
This is such a sangria. Is this the one that we can?
That's what you can buy. Yes, you can buy that.
Can we add it? Yeah. Do I have to tell my order? We can get it on there.
Late additions.
We didn't order right. I didn't order right.
So yeah, and that kind of goes with all our packages that we offer. We do have suggested cocktails, and then we've kind of designed this obviously to go along with what you're doing, so you kind of see how this is working. So now that you see that, it'll kind of give you a little bit more context, and we try to do that with all our party packages. All right, so my vegetables are in here. They're kind of taking their sweet time. What I'm going to do is just kind of close the lid and just let them cook for about 4 or 5 minutes, and that'll increase the temperature in there, and it'll kind of get them caramelized for where we need them. So we'll come back in about 5 minutes. All right, so it's been 5 or 6 minutes, or however long it took you to get another drink. Our onions, peppers, garlic, all our vegetables, see how they're kind of become translucent, and they're nice and soft. You can almost feel them whenever you move your spatula in here. They're just giving you no resistance. All right, from this one is the important point right here. Is all our juices right here that have gathered in this bowl is from all the chicken, the chorizo, the speck. I'm gonna go ahead and dump them back in here. All right. All right. So there's a couple of reasons I'm doing that. Right. First thing is obviously there's a lot of liquids gonna come out of the chicken and the sausage. I don't want that to mess with my ratio with the rice, right? So I want to kind of get them in here and evaporate them, and I do want all those oils and all those essential flavors. I do want them back into the paella. So I'm just gonna get them in here and let any kind of liquids evaporate, and just I'm going to be left with the oil and all that concentrated flavor. All right. And it should happen pretty quickly. It's not really that much liquid. Most of it is the oils. All right. And do be careful, like as you do this, the grill around here, it does kind of like there will be some heat coming out. So if you want to grab, that's why I was, put on there like a slotted spoon would be a good option. If you're, if you're not used to the heat, you just kind of want to be, have something with a long handle, just so you're not over. Like for me, it doesn't really bother me, but if you're not used to the heat, it could be a little bit uncomfortable. The sangria does help with that too. So. Yeah. All right. All right, so most of our liquid is evaporated. All right. All right, next step. All right, next step is our bomba rice right here. Okay. Like I said, bomba rice or cauliflower rice, it's actually grown only in one region in the world, in Spain, and it's called the cauliflower region, and that's why it's called cauliflower or bomba rice. There's a little bit of difference between the two. Bomba is a little bit smaller than the cauliflower, but they both kind of work the same way. And just like calamari olives, there's only one place you can get it from. And that's a good example when we were talking about earlier. That's kind of a rice that's not necessarily very popular, and you can find it everywhere. So we can definitely source that stuff for you. Text Tony, yes, and I'll get you some cauliflower rice. All right, so we've got our rice in here. I want to coat it with all that oil. And you can really see what we've kind of been working on so far is just getting all those flavors and all those oils to kind of work. It's going to actually color the rice. It's going to be nice, and the color from the smoked paprika from the chorizo. And then right after that, I'm gonna go ahead and put my parsley. And there's a couple of bay leaves in here too. Just kind of leave them in there. Obviously, you want to be careful not to eat the bay leaves. It would not be good. All right, we'll let that caramelize for a little bit. So we have continued to caramelize. So you see how the rice is starting to caramelize a little bit? Everything is drying out. You can come take a look.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
All right, so now, next step. So we're bringing back our sausage and chicken after we've sauteed our rice for a little while. I'm going to take everything back in there. All right, so now I'm kind of coating the rice and the chicken and everything's kind of back in there. And just kind of want to get everything incorporated. And really all I'm doing is just trying to kind of just mix it up. I'm not really trying to cook it any longer or anything like that, just kind of incorporating everything so it's ready for the next stage, which is the broth. I'll just let that cook for a couple of minutes and that's it. All right, we'll let that cook for a couple of minutes and we'll be back. All right, so we've incorporated our chicken, our sausage, and our speck into our rice. It's nice and coated. It's starting to caramelize a little bit. And see how it's, everything is just kind of happening nice and slow. And that's what, the nice and even heat of the grill is helping us out. Now, if some of you guys don't have a grill available, and if you, let's say you only have a stove. Now, do not put this directly on the stove or on a gas grill, on a gas heat burner, because it will be really harsh in the middle and you just won't get that even distribution of heat. You can buy what's called a diffuser or like a cast iron plate in most like specialty stores, and you can put that on top of your burner and then put the paella top on top of that, get it nice and hot, and that'll help distribute the heat a little bit better. And so that's an option. But ideally, it's you do it on the grill, or you can also purchase online. If you look for a paella burner, they sell different paella burners in different sizes, and you can. That's the ideal option, obviously. All right. Now we've arrived to the stage where we're going to add our broth to the paella. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of smoke over here, and it's I do want it to like boil a little bit, so I'm gonna let that come to like a fast simmer or a low boil while I'm kind of caramelizing the rest of this rice. And once my broth is boiling a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and add it to this part. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate my pan one more time. As we talked about earlier, just want to make sure any kind of juices that kind of go distribute evenly. All right, I want to come in here and see. So we have a little bit of movement. You see how like the broth is, it's moving a little bit. That means we're pretty much ready to go ahead and add it to the rice. I know it's nice and hot, so as soon as I put it in there, it'll start boiling. All right, so this is an important part right here. We're ready with our broth. It's starting to move around a little bit. It's really slowly simmering. I'm going to add it to the pan. So even if this handle is not hot, definitely this is where you want to use an oven mitt or a towel and grab this, because when I start putting it on here, it will start bubbling and there'll be some steam coming out. So you do want to be careful not to burn yourself, right? All right. So we're done with this. All right, so now I'm gonna just kind of stir this up in here. And so far, I've been on full heat on this grill. It's full, depending on your grill, it might be a little bit harder, but you've seen like where we want to be. We don't want to be really boiling really hard. It's all just like a nice and gentle And so same heat you would use to like caramelize onions or anything like that. Just nice and gently cook it. So right now I'm just going to get everything nice and even over here. And I'm going to close my grill and I want to just kind of get everything rolling for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll get all our seafood on top of there. All right, so we've been cooking for about 4 or 5 minutes, and you see how everything is boiling nice and briskly. That means we're ready for the next part. I'm going to go ahead and turn the grill down at this point to low, and then I'm going to start arranging my seafood in there. All right. First we have the mussels. All right, so these are fresh mussels. Obviously they're alive. Every once in a while one of them will die. It's no big deal. So for example, see this one right here, if I tap it, it's not closing. That means he's a goner. So rest in peace. We're going to throw them out. Do not put it in the paella, okay? So make sure they're all closed nice and tightly, and that means they're still alive, and then you can use them. So the way I do this, I just kind of start, just kind of crisscross. One this way, one this way. This one is dead. Yeah, I'm doing like the pointy end down. So the pointy end is this right here, and I'm just kind of putting them straight down. Yeah, see it like that. Straight down. All right. I'm just kind of arranging them around the perimeter, and then a few of them in the middle, and just kind of sticking them in the rice a little bit. And it's not a very good experience, and it could be dangerous. So like I said, we've actually packed a few extra ones for you, because inevitably sometimes they just die.
So check every muscle.
Yeah, check every muscle, make sure that it's it's closing. So I have like a couple of them here that are not ideal. So like I said, we have a few extra ones today, and a lot of the main part, the main reason we put that is just another layer of flavor. Obviously, there's not a lot of meat in there, but you have multiple ones, and you just want that juice to come out of them and go into the rice. All right, so and this last guy is open, so we're gonna throw them out. Next thing, we're gonna move it to our clams. These are the little neck clams. We have scrubbed and washed these, so these are ready to go. If you do buy them in the store, always make sure you wash those and kind of scrub them off. Yeah, yes, they're cleaned off. Yeah. Yeah, you should you wash them really quick and rinse them. Don't submerge them for too long, because they're like seawater. If you do so, there's a method where you can purge them, is what it's called, but you have to use actual sea salt, and then mix them. There's a ratio with the water, and you actually leave them, and what they'll do, they'll spit out the sand, and that's what's called purging them, right? But just a quick wash is fine. There might be a little bit of sand grain or anything like that. That's part of the experience, right? Just you feel like you're on the beach. All right, so we'll kind of do the same thing, pointy end down, and just kind of go around.
Is the same concept with the clam?
Yeah, same thing. I'm looking at them, and clams usually last a little bit longer than mussels. So most of these should be good. Definitely, be careful with the mussels, because they do tend to be a little bit less. And see if this one right here has a crack. I'm gonna go ahead and just in case, even though it's closed the rest of the way, I just don't know what might have gotten in that crack. So I'll just go ahead and discard it. And then same thing over here. We've given you guys a few extra ones. So you just kind of want to get a nice even spread of those on top of the paella. All right, so we've got our clams and our mussels, and I'll go ahead and put our shrimps kind of on top of here too.
Hey, tell us about the local shrimp guy.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there is a guy here. So if you look at the bodega, there's a guy that actually grows shrimp here in just right off of Old Frankfurt. You guys know where Donnemeyer Farm is, where the wine auction is? Right next to Donnemeyer Farm, there's a small one. It's called Rolling Blue, and he has these tanks, and he grows shrimp. He raises shrimp there. So he gets these little shrimp from I think he gets them from Florida, and he raises them, and they're super good and super fresh. And we've gotten them. We did one of our events, and we did the Chinese fried shrimp, where you just take the whole thing and just deep fry it, with the shell on and head and everything. You can actually eat the whole thing, head, everything, because they're just so fresh, and the skin is nice and thin. So they're just super, super nice. And so if you guys the only thing with those I will say is that they're really hard to peel, because they're super fresh. So they're literally, when you go there, they're swimming around. He picks them out, they're jumping everywhere. So it's a sight to see for sure. All right, and you got a little bit of salt in here. That's usually about enough what I need to put on here. Once everything gets cooking, right before we'll finish it, I'll go ahead and give it another taste. I'll just kind of season everything. I just want to season my shrimp mainly on top of here. And then all that salt will just kind of permeate down below. The broth is already seasoned, so everything is ready to go. So that's kind of all you need. It's really just to just to season the shrimp mainly because it's on top. And then, well, obviously we haven't seasoned it so it doesn't start breaking down. But there's really not any way to, seasoning is not going to come up from the bottom. So I do want to just kind of get it right on top here. All right, and then we're going to put our peas. Container number 11. Is that our last container, right?
So,
Did I miss anything? That's good. All right, I'll just kind of sprinkle those guys on top of here.
does the lemon have a number?
Lemon does not have a number. It's number Chiquita.
I have a question about
Yes.
salt. Do you often use the Maldon salt
So
when you're cooking, or do you only use it as a finishing?
Maldon is usually it's a finishing salt because you can actually crunch it and it's you can
Yeah, so that's flaky,
yeah,
it's so
but it
light.
doesn't dissolve necessarily very well. So the reason you do use it as a finishing salt is because it doesn't dissolve. So cooking salt you want it to dissolve quickly. So as soon as you put it in there, you want to be able to taste it and then kind of get a good idea of how much salt you have in there. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna crank everything back up. Yeah, just sprinkle the peas, which are our last part of this. I'm gonna go ahead and close this up and just kind of get it going. So we've cooked for a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and do like a little taste test over here. See how I still have plenty of liquid in here. I'm just gonna put my spoon over here. I'm gonna taste it. I want it to be a little bit salty because obviously the rice is not seasoned. So anytime you're cooking the rice, you want it to be a little bit saltier, the liquid, than whatever you like, because when it all absorbs into the rice, it'll balance out. All right, and as you can kind of see, I'm gonna go ahead and turn everything down. We're now in simmering mode. Sorry. I want to make sure everything is kind of covered. I've created a lid with all the seafood, the peas, and everything, and it's kind of covering the rice. And now we're just going to close the lid, walk away for about 20 minutes, and then we'll come back. If you didn't get seafood, it's pretty much everybody got. Usually, if you don't get seafood, obviously you will skip the last step. But same thing, just kind of sprinkle the peas. Just kind of usually use my my spatula and just kind of press everything down lightly. See, like right here, I don't need to do it with the seafood. But if it's just the chicken and the peas, I'll kind of press everything, make sure all the rice is submerged under the broth, and just kind of gently do that, and then just close it and walk away, and then we'll be back in a few minutes. It's been about 20 minutes, and we're back to our paella. As you can see, everything is absorbed. Like we said over here, see these little grains up top here, like it says on the directions. These are not completely cooked. They're still edible. They'll have a little bit of texture. Not to worry about it. The main thing what we're looking for is down here, down below. Now see this? All the liquid is gone. See the rice is nice and soft. It's beautiful. And it's fully cooked. At this point, now we're ready to just go ahead and take this off the grill. I'm gonna turn this off. If you need a couple of minutes, or let's say if you're having guests and they're a little bit late, or everybody's out and about and you have to get them up, this has, you can like just turn off the heat, close the grill, let it sit in there. It's no big deal. And then you can put it on the table. You can sit for 5 or 10 minutes, let it rest, and let everything kind of reabsorb into the rice and finish cooking. It's not a problem. So now we're going to do the final touch, which is I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley on top. And earlier I used all the parsley, which I wasn't supposed to do that. Save a little bit of parsley just so you can kind of do that at the end. Just looks really nice. And then there's a lemon that's packed in your pack. Go ahead and just cut it into like 8 wedges, just like that. And I'm just going to use it to garnish the paella with that. Just kind of stick those in there. And as you eat the paella, you can just grab a wedge and just squeeze it, on top of the seafood, and it just kind of helps cut through all that fat and richness of the paella. All right, good right there. All right. So taking this off of here, obviously, again, this is really, really hot. We want to use both of our towels or your oven mitts, whatever you like to use. And you bring it to the table and you put it down. And then people can take pictures of it. All right.